Look at this painting. A mountain of human skulls baking in the desert sun. Crows circling overhead, picking at the remains. Dead trees. A ruined city in the distance. This isn't fiction. This isn't some heavy metal album cover. This is a painting that was so disturbing, so controversial, that German Field Marshal Helmuth von Moltke, one of the greatest military minds of the 19th century, saw it and immediately ordered that no German soldier be allowed to look at it. The Austrian Minister of War issued the exact same ban. The Russian government? They refused to let it be displayed in their own country, even though it was painted by a Russian. This is The Apotheosis of War by Vasily Vereshchagin, painted in 1871. And the story behind this painting, and the man who created it, is one of the most incredible stories in art history. Vasily Vereshchagin wasn't your typical artist. He wasn't painting pretty landscapes or portraits of nobles. He was a soldier first. Born into Russian nobility in 1842, he was trained as a naval officer. He graduated top of his class. But he gave it all up to become a painter. And not just any painter. Vereshchagin believed that to paint war honestly, you had to experience it yourself. He once wrote, "It would be impossible to achieve the aim I have set myself, to give society a picture of war as it really is, by observing battles through binoculars from a comfortable distance." So he didn't watch from a distance. He picked up a rifle and fought. In 1868, during the Russian conquest of Central Asia, Vereshchagin was stationed at the fortress of Samarkand when it came under siege. The situation was desperate. 500 Russian soldiers, half of them already wounded, facing an army of thousands. Vereshchagin took command of a section of the defense. For days, he fought alongside the soldiers, helping to repel wave after wave of attacks. When reinforcements finally arrived, the commanding general was so moved by what he heard that he gave Vereshchagin his own Cross of St. George, one of Russia's highest military honors for bravery. This was a man who had seen the reality of war up close, the blood, the death, the chaos, and it changed him forever. When Vereshchagin started working on this painting, he originally planned to call it The Triumph of Tamerlane. Tamerlane, also known as Timur, was one of the most terrifying conquerors in human history. In the late 1300s and early 1400s, he built an empire stretching from Turkey to India. His military campaigns killed an estimated 17 million people. That's roughly 5% of the entire world's population at the time. But Tamerlane didn't just kill his enemies, he made monuments out of them. After conquering a city, he would order his soldiers to collect the severed heads of the dead. Not dozens, not hundreds, but thousands, tens of thousands. And he would have them stacked into massive pyramids outside the city walls. When he sacked the city of Isfahan in 1387, his men erected 28 separate towers of skulls, each one containing approximately 1,500 heads. That's over 40,000 skulls arranged into grotesque monuments visible for miles. In Baghdad, the number was even higher, 90,000 heads arranged into 120 towers. This wasn't random cruelty, it was psychological warfare. Tamerlane understood that the sight of these skull pyramids would spread ahead of his army. Cities would hear what happened to those who resisted. Many surrendered without a fight, which was exactly the point. Vereshchagin knew this history. He had traveled through Central Asia and seen the ruins of cities that Tamerlane had destroyed, and he wanted to paint the true legacy of conquest. But here's what makes this painting brilliant. Vereshchagin didn't just paint a pile of skulls. Every element tells a story. Look at the skulls themselves. They're bleached by the sun, cracked and weathered. This massacre didn't happen yesterday. These skulls have been sitting here for months, maybe years. The flesh has long since rotted away. The crows have already picked them clean. And the crows, they're not just decorative. The artist himself said something haunting about them. He called the painting a still life, which in French translates to nature morte, dead nature. He said if you ignore the ravens, it's just a still life, but those ravens transform it into something alive, something feeding on death. The trees in the background are dead too, stripped bare, no leaves, no life. Even nature itself has abandoned this place. And in the far right corner, you can see the ruins of a city. The walls are crumbling. This was once a thriving civilization. Now it's rubble. The only monument that remains is this pyramid of the dead. The ground is a sickly yellow-brown. Barren, scorched, nothing grows here anymore. But here's the most important detail. The inscription on the frame. Vereshchagin dedicated this painting to all great conquerors past, present, and to come. Not just Tamerlane, all conquerors. This was a message to every emperor, every general, every leader who thought they could build glory through war. This is your legacy. This is what you leave behind. Not monuments, not civilization, but skulls. When Vereshchagin began exhibiting this painting across Europe in the 1870s, it caused an uproar. The Russian government saw it as an attack on their military campaigns in Central Asia. They banned it from being shown in Russia and accused Vereshchagin of slandering the army. In Germany, Field Marshal von Moltke took one look at it and was reportedly so disturbed that he banned German soldiers from attending Vereshchagin's exhibitions entirely. He understood immediately what the painting was saying and didn't want his troops exposed to it. The Austrian war minister followed with his own ban. But Vereshchagin didn't back down. In fact, he did the opposite. He offered free admission to soldiers at his exhibitions across Europe. When the bans went into effect, witnesses reported that Vereshchagin would wait in alleys near his galleries at night, trying to secretly invite soldiers in to see his work. He wanted the people who might actually fight in wars to understand what they were really signing up for. The pressure became so intense that Vereshchagin eventually burned 3 of his other paintings in frustration. But he never destroyed the apotheosis of war. It was too important. Vereshchagin spent the rest of his life painting the horrors of war. He created massive canvases showing prisoners freezing to death, battlefields covered with corpses, executions, and suffering. His work influenced countless people, including Bertha von Suttner, who would go on to win the Nobel Peace Prize in 1905. In fact, Vereshchagin himself was nominated for the very first Nobel Peace Prize in 1901, not for diplomacy, not for treaties, but for painting. The Nobel Committee recognized that his art had done more to show the true face of war than any political speech ever could. When the Art Institute of Chicago wanted to show his work to school children, they told him, "Your paintings might make young people turn away from war." Vereshchagin considered that the greatest compliment he ever received. Today, the apotheosis of war hangs in the Tretyakov Gallery in Moscow. You can even buy socks with the skull pyramid printed on them in the gift shop. But in February 2022, just after Russia invaded Ukraine, the Tretyakov Gallery posted this painting to their official Instagram account without comment. Many saw it as a subtle protest, a reminder of what Vereshchagin dedicated his work to. All great conquerors, past, present, and to come. 150 years later, his message hasn't changed, and neither has war.